You're listening to the Platform Launchers podcast. I'm John Stange, and it's great to have you with us again this week. This week, we're going to be talking about finances. It's been a few weeks since we've really addressed this in detail, but our theme this week is the fact that we're just talking about the fact that you can use your online platform to replace your current income. And this is a question that I get quite frequently from members of Platform Launcher. So those that are in our members club, this is something we talk about a lot, not because people are greedy, not because people want a whole bunch of money just for money's sake, but I think many of us have families and have responsibilities and have ministries that we care about and all sorts of things that we would like to be able to contribute to. And in this day and age, a little extra income here and there certainly doesn't hurt. And so I want to spend our time together this week talking about the fact that your online platform really can replace your current income. And I'm going to explain how that can be done from an angle that I don't think that I've really taken in some of our previous calls that address this subject. Now, when I first started creating digitally deliverable content, I had a financial target in mind. My goal was to earn an average of $250 a day from multiple sources. And I believed that that number was achievable, but I honestly wasn't very sure how long it was going to take for me to get there. If I knew sooner what I know now, I obviously would have achieved that financial milestone much earlier. But now that I've figured out how to earn an online income, I attempt to exceed that $250 a day benchmark. And most days I succeed, and quite often I actually do far better than that. In fact, at dinner tonight, I was checking to see where I was at for today, and today it was in the 400s. So I thought, all right, well, that's good. That gives me a little leeway in case tomorrow ends up being a light day. But basically, in the evenings, each evening, I have a series of websites, a series of emails, and a series of spreadsheets that I check. And each of these sources, they give me a good picture of how much I earned that day and which income sources were the most profitable. I think it's a fun way to end the day, and there truly isn't a day when I fail to thank God for blessing me with the means to care for my family, to share with others, to contribute to the ministries I feel passionate about. This is something that I feel is a true blessing. It's also something I enjoy sharing concepts about with others, because my goal is to hopefully help others achieve that same thing or exceed that. Earning a living through platform development excites me. And when I get excited about something, it's hard for me to stop talking about it. That's actually something my family makes fun of me for. When I get excited about something, everybody in my orbit, everybody in my world has to hear about it until I get excited about a new thing. Then they have to hear about the new thing I'm excited about. But basically, if I could convince everyone that this was possible for them to do, I would certainly try. But I've also noticed that many of the people I've interacted with have a high degree of doubt that something like this would be possible for them as well. And more than once, I've heard statements like this, and maybe you've heard people say things like this to you as well, but I've heard things like, oh, you're just lucky. So maybe someone's told you that somewhere over the course of your life. You're just lucky. Well, what do you think? Are you just lucky? Am I just lucky? Or how about this? Oh, it must be nice, but that's not likely for the rest of us. I've heard that as well. So these are common things that sometimes I've heard people say. And I think that's silliness, because there isn't anything I've done that cannot be replicated by others. And I literally mean that. Everything I've done can be replicated in some form or some fashion by somebody else. The sources of income I'm earning a living from weren't invented by me, and they aren't unique to me. The only differences between me and some of the doubters that I've spoken to are that I've figured out my message. I've taken the time to learn what people want from me. I've stuck with what I'm doing long enough for it to succeed. I've stayed teachable so I could learn new skills and ideas. And I refused to quit when I experienced setbacks. And if you're thinking about earning an online income, first of all, let me just encourage you, don't fill your head with self-doubt. Don't preach a message to your heart that is not true. Give yourself permission to believe that it's absolutely possible for you to earn your entire living online once you figure out the value that you can deliver to others and the kind of help that they actually want from you. And let me just highlight that again for a quick second. I'm saying you have to figure out the value that you can deliver to others and the kind of help that they actually want from you. Those are two things that are key when it comes to developing a healthy or robust or multi-tiered source of online income. So on a daily basis, let me just give you an overview of some of the things that are working here, because maybe it'll generate some ideas for you. But on a daily basis, I'm consistently earning income from sources like book royalties. So I have a variety of books. I've been publishing them for years. I earn income from them. Some of them are short books. Some of them are long books, but I have those book royalties that comes in every single day. There's not a single day that goes by that I don't earn income from book royalties now. I also earn income from advertising, and then crowdfunding, and then courses and membership subscriptions and directory subscriptions, affiliates, coaching, speaking fees, webinars, workshops, and a few other things. I even earn money from doing some voiceover work. That's one of my favorite ways to earn a side income. And I kind of add that to the mix because it pays decently well and it can be digitally delivered. But that's my list. Those are the main things that I'm investing my time in as far as some of my free time that helps me earn an online income. And so I just want to throw out a couple questions for you. Could you personally write a practical nonfiction book that earns ongoing income for the rest of your life? Well, the answer to that question is yes. Yes, you absolutely could do that. How about this? Could you charge people to advertise on your blog or on your podcast? Again, if you have a blog or a podcast, yes, you can charge people to advertise on it. And odds are, if you're consistent with creating content, somebody eventually will want to advertise to your audience. All right, how about this? Could you begin a crowdfunding campaign that gives people who consume your free content the opportunity to send you a small gift as a way to express their thanks? Well, the answer to that is yes, you could do that. Or how about this? Could you earn an income from affiliates? Again, yes. How about this? Could you create courses or offer coaching or start a membership community? Of course, you could do all of these things. These are all things that you could do. None of these things are rocket science, and none of these things are impossible, and none of these things are unique to me. These are the common ways that people with platforms are earning an online living. The key is to make sure you're providing helpful content and helpful services for a specific group of people. And as you serve your audience, many of them will eventually pay you for additional help or additional access to you. They will want additional help and additional access that they can get to you, and they'll actually pay for that. Now, I'm not special because I'm earning my living this way. I'm just diligent in making sure that I serve my audience to the best of my ability. And I keep creating products and I keep creating services that give them the opportunity to pay for the kind of help that I'm equipped to offer. And this, by the way, is not different from the principles that guide traditional brick and mortar businesses. It's just more scalable. And it's something that can be accomplished from just about anywhere, since the means of delivery is digital. So I could be at home and I could be doing this. I could be on vacation and doing this. I could be really anywhere that I have an internet connection, and I could be delivering this kind of content. And I'll also say this, in some cases, a few of the revenue streams that I'm utilizing and a few of the revenue streams that are also available to you are things that can be placed on autopilot so they don't require excessive use of your time. Now, I mentioned a moment ago that this is a very scalable form of income. If you're earning a form of income that is derived from your online platform, in many respects, it can be a very scalable thing. And I want to give you some specific examples. I was doing some of this math to share with some of our members in our members club, but I was also doing some of this math just to figure out some of the things that I'm working on and what level I want to see these things grow to. And so I want to show you what I mean by that. You might be surprised, by the way, how quickly you can scale your income from certain forms of digitally deliverable content and services. And I'll tell you what, most of the time when I ask people, if they're thinking about earning an income from their online platform, I'll ask them, how much would you like to make from your platform? And the most common answer is $10,000 a month or $120,000 a year. I asked that of a friend earlier today, and that was the answer that he gave me. And that's actually the most common answer. I think most people in their mind, they think, boy, that would be a comfortable living if I was able to earn $10,000 a month from an online platform. So let me show you a couple different ways that that's certainly possible. And I'm going to start with courses. I'm going to use this as an example. So a typical price, if you've ever purchased an online course, and we'll say like a 7-lesson online course, which is a very common length. A typical price for a 7-lesson online course is right around $250 to $300, depending on the topic. So think about this. If on your platform, you develop over time multiple courses so that you have several options like that. And if your average sale rate ends up being that, with multiple courses available, you average that you're selling maybe just one course a day, which is, by the way, entirely possible for a well-developed platform. That is not an uncommon number. I see that all the time. If you sell just one course a day at that range of $250 to $300 per course, that alone is worth more than $100,000 a year in income. So just selling one $250 to $300 course per day is a $100,000 a year income. But let me give you another example. And this is an example that I think is a little bit easier to kind of wrap our minds around than even courses might be. The quickest way typically to monetize an online platform is by offering some kind of coaching. It's usually the fastest way to an above average income. The most common price being paid for an hour of coaching is right around $200 per hour. That's about the rate that I charge for coaching. And that's the most common rate that people pay for an hour of coaching. I know some people that charge around $300. I know one person that charges $1,000 an hour. And believe it or not, he gets that. He has more coaching requests than he knows what to do with, and he charges $1,000 per hour. But the most common price for an hour of coaching is $200 per hour. If you provide at least 10 hours of coaching each week at that rate, that alone is over $100,000 a year in income. So just 10 hours a week at that $200 an hour rate, that's over $100,000 a year. All right, how about this? Leading a membership community. That's something that I hear people talk a lot about, and depending on your platform topic, that might be a popular thing that you might want to consider adding to your overall platform. I have to tell you, leading a membership community is one of my favorite tasks, and it wasn't something I had a vision for when I got into developing an online platform at first. But when I realized that that was something that very much fits with my personality and my skill set, I thought, you know what, that's something that I think I'd like to do. And I thoroughly enjoy it. And so leading a membership community might be something you would also enjoy, particularly if you're like me, if you're energized by serving people and you like bringing people together. Prices for membership communities vary. They're all over the map. I see some that I was looking at one the other day that charges $297 per month. I have seen others that charge $20 per month, but let's say you charge $50 per month. If you charge $50 per month, you would earn $100,000 a year from your membership community once your membership community reached 167 members. And that is not an impossible number. I have a friend who leads a membership community that has a little over 100. I have another friend who leads a membership community that has 700 at present in the community. And I've seen people all over the board. And so if you charge $50 a month, you would earn $100,000 a year once your community reached 167 members. And so what I'm saying, and just giving a few of these examples, is that it's all very possible and it's all very scalable. And odds are, if you decide to monetize your online platform, you're probably going to use a combination of those three options and maybe a few other things. And maybe at first they kind of add together to get you close to that number. But who knows, maybe after a couple years or maybe 3 years or so of doing this, maybe each one of those could be a six-figure stream of income for you. I've seen it done. It's entirely possible. Now, just for fun, let's add one more thing to this equation here. Just for fun, do the math on how much advertising you'd need to sell on your blog or your podcast to replace your present income. It's not beyond reach. And what if you add book royalties? And what if you add affiliate commissions into the mix? Just this evening, while I was eating dinner, my phone lit up and it told me that I received a $208 affiliate commission for something in particular. And I thought, oh, wow, that's great. And then a little while later, I got another email that said that I had received $187 from something else. And then I got a third email right before I started our call this evening that said I received $27 from something else. And so I look at that and I think, okay, it's kind of fun getting those emails. And I'm just saying, what if you add book royalties and affiliate commissions and things like that into the mix? What if you created a crowdfunding campaign through something like Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee or something else? The truth is, you might be surprised at how a combination of several of the options that I've just listed effectively replaces your entire income over time. I know that some may be listening to me right now and say, oh, that doesn't seem possible for me. But others, maybe you've got that twinkle in your eye and you're starting to realize that it's actually really possible to do this because things on the internet tend to scale a little bit quicker than some of the things in the brick and mortar world. If this is something you really want to get serious about, I think there are 7 indispensable traits you're going to need. And by the way, if you're listening to this right now on the podcast or watching this via YouTube, you don't need to write this down. Just go over to platformlaunchers.com and you're going to see this in, I have a blog post over at platformlaunchers.com that this list will be on. But these 7 traits are, I think, 7 indispensable traits that you're going to need if this is something that you really want to get serious about. If you want to really develop an online income that replaces your traditional income. The first trait is this: you need the mindset to believe it's actually possible. Most of the people that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, I don't think I have the mindset to think that something like this is possible. They seem to kind of limit themselves in ways that I don't think is really healthy on many levels. And so I think you need, first of all, the mindset to believe it's actually possible. I think secondly, you need the wisdom to know what expertise you should share. There's something you're good at. There's something from your experience that people want and need from you. So you need some wisdom to know what expertise you should share. I think the third thing you need is this: the diligence to stick with what you're building long enough for it to work. It's probably not going to work on day one, but if you keep plugging away at it, you're going to see some glimmers of hope. You're going to see some glimmers of light. You're going to start seeing certain things that are working, and you're going to look at it and realize, you know what, if I stick with this long enough, I think this might actually work. All right, the fourth thing you're going to need is this: the consistency to keep creating helpful content on a faithful and predictable schedule. Last week we were talking about consistency. That was our theme of the week. And this week, I just want to highlight it again. It's number 4 on my list. You got to have consistency to keep creating helpful content on a faithful and predictable schedule. So you know that this podcast, it drops every Wednesday. And I try not to miss. In fact, since I started the podcast here in earnest, that's the schedule that we've kept. I have 3 other shows. They all drop at predictable times. My blog, the content drops at predictable times. My newsletter comes out every week for both of my platforms. You need the consistency to keep creating helpful content on a faithful and predictable schedule. All right, number 5 on my list is this: you need the humility to accept that you will have ups and downs in this process. Now, I just mentioned that so far today, through the emails I got, I think today was like $400 some my online platform earned, which is a decent day. It's a good day, but some days I have that are much better than that. And some days I have that are much less than that. And sometimes I try new ideas that I think are going to be great, and they get a slow response at first. And sometimes I try things that don't work at all. And then other times I try things that work great. And so really, I think one of the keys, one of the things that we need to succeed is we need the humility to accept that you will have ups and downs in this process. There will be up days, there will be down days. Don't let the up days puff your head up, and don't let the down days crush your spirit. Number 6 on the list is this. You need the courage to keep pressing forward with new ideas, even after experiencing setbacks. We all experience setbacks. We all deal with things that kind of get in the way, moments of discouragement, again, things that didn't work exactly like we thought they would, or even unkind words from people that don't believe in what we're doing, or I don't know if you've ever rooted or met someone that's rooting for your failure. I actually had one time in my life several years ago, I had somebody directly say to me that he was rooting for me to fail. And I remember thinking, well, that's so nice. And so you need the courage to keep pressing forward with new ideas, even after experiencing setbacks. And number 7 on my list is the finale on my list. You need the adaptability to adjust what you're offering when the needs of your audience change, because there are going to be changing needs over time. If you plan on doing what you're doing for a long time, there are going to be new opportunities and new challenges that you can help people meet. And you have to be adaptable. You have to be able to change what you're doing or adjust what you're doing and what you're offering to meet the needs of the audience that you're trying to serve. There was a time when I dreamt about the possibility of earning a healthy online income. Now, I don't have to dream about it anymore because it's my present day reality. But I still remember taking walks with my wife. There's a state park not too far from us here, and it's one of our favorite places to walk. And I remember particularly when I'd first gotten into Kindle publishing, and I remember taking walks with my wife at that time and hashing out some of my plans and some of my ideas and how I hoped it was going to be a benefit to our family financially. And my wife is a great listener, and I have to give her credit because she patiently listened to me talk, and she supported my dreams with her words of encouragement and her willingness, I should also acknowledge, to sacrifice a portion of our household budget while I was spending money to build the online platforms that I created. That wasn't free. And so that took a little bit of a risk of some of our personal finances to at least make initial investments in some of the things that I was building. But she patiently listened to me as I dreamt out loud, and she encouraged me along the way, even when I was spending a little bit of our hard-earned money to try and get some of these things going. And now at this point, we're reaping the benefit of that. But I say all of that, and I share my personal examples, not just to talk about myself, but to tell you that I know that this is possible for you as well. Even if you're struggling to believe it, I'm believing it for you because I've already seen it in my own life. It used to be a matter of faith for me. Now it's become a matter of sight. It's not something I have to dream about anymore. It's now something that I'm experiencing. And by the way, this isn't like some long thing that I've been experiencing this for many years. This is really only the past several years. I've been in a gradual way experiencing that kind of exponential growth from my online platforms and the kind of income that comes from it when you figure out how people are requesting you to serve them and what kind of content they want you to share. So stay focused on the value you're offering and stay focused on the services that people need you uniquely to supply. Create great content that educates and edifies and enlightens your audience, and provide opportunities for them to purchase your premium content and direct access to you through coaching. Once you earn your first dollar online, you will believe this is possible for you. So don't talk yourself out of it. If this is part of your divinely orchestrated calling and design, pursue it because it can free you up to do other things that you want to do and serve people in ways that you only dreamt about before. And it can be a huge blessing to your family as well. If we at Platform Launchers can help you in this process, there's a couple things that we offer that I think could be particularly helpful if you're trying to figure out what this looks like in your context. One of the things is our launch plan course. You could find that at platformlaunchers.com, and it basically walks you through the 7 major facets of developing an online platform if you're starting from scratch. We have that over at platformlaunchers.com. Some people prefer just learning all that content through a course, so we've had that there basically from day one. But something else that I'll just throw out there, and you've heard me mention it on previous week's calls, we have our members club, and live on the call with me, we have our members club. They're right here with me as I'm recording our podcast for this week, and we're about to segue into our members only Q&A. But if you're part of our members club, you get to be here live when we record the podcast. You get to be part of the members only Q&A. You get to develop friendships with people that help keep you accountable and encourage you along the way and celebrate your wins. You also get access to all our recorded training, which is a ton now that we have in our training vault. We also have a monthly office hour where we help you work through technical things and any other question you have related to platform development. And the best part of all of it is that if you want to try it out, there is really no financial risk to do so. You just hop on to platformlaunchers.com, sign up for it, and you can try it out absolutely free with no strings attached for the next 2 weeks. And if it's right for you and you want to stick around afterwards, stick around. We'd love to have you as part of the group. If you want to just try it for 2 weeks and see if this is something you want to consider, check it out for 2 weeks. And if you don't want to use it anymore, just click disconnect and you'll be signed out from it and you won't get charged a penny. But we'd love to invite you to be part of the group. Give it a free test drive. You can do that at platformlaunchers.com, and we know it's going to be helpful to you as you try to build your online platform and hopefully replace your traditional income with the income that you receive from the work that you're doing online. But that's it for us this week. Thanks again for being part of our podcast. I think I'm going to even throw out one additional favor, if you don't mind. I don't know that I've ever asked you to do this on the podcast before, but if you're a regular listener to this podcast, would you mind leaving a review for it? There's that's something I haven't really been asking the group to do, but if you wouldn't mind leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast, that'd be a huge favor to me, and I'd certainly appreciate it. And that triggers that algorithm for those systems to start sharing this podcast with other people as well. And I'd be really grateful. So just throw that out there if that's something that you're willing to do. And that would be a big help to me. But that's it for us this week. Thanks again for tuning in. And we look forward to catching up with you again next time.